The college football experience week 2 pregame show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by the SGPN free roll football contest. Yes. Join our free season long pickup for a chance to win $3,000 and a Super Bowl autographed SGP helmet. Sign up at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/contest. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use the promo code CFBX to save yourself $20. Download the Game Time app. Once again, promo code CFBX. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, play the Underdog Pick'em in college or NFL and win up to 20 times the amount of money you enter in one game. Use the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. We're also brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use the promo code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on any NFL game. Only on the DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code SGP. And finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use the promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience week 2 pregame show. Shit, we got a game on right now. They already kicked off a Wake Forest Vanderbilt game. So we're going to be monitoring that. And folks, hopefully you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Subscribe. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, well, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Don D. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. I would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Yes. Look, flew back from Vegas last night. I don't know, like 10 p.m. after the Kansas Jayhawks ticket cashed. As we got an interception by Wake Forest as this happens. Uh-oh. And Wake taking it back to the almost inside the 10. Oh, yeah. It's a good time. Look, last week on this very show, I gave away the Colorado Buffaloes money line and the Wyoming Cowboys money line. We also gave away Northern Illinois. I am joined by one of the guys that was on the Northern Illinois Huskies as a double-digit dog. I believe it was 10 or 9.5 in Chestnut Hill. Give it up for the host of the NBA Gambling Podcast, the host of the WNBA Gambling Podcast. But you got to start right here on the college football experience. I gave you Terrell Furman Jr. How you doing, bro?
What's going on, Kobe? Hey, look. So the funny thing about that Northern Illinois game is that it was in a 12 o'clock slate last week. And so after I had given up on UVA making anything competitive at all, I was locked into that game 100% at the sportsbook. So every single person in Portsmouth Bet Rivers, shout out to the crib, Portsmouth Bet Rivers, every single person that's sportsbook had Dion on the money line. Every single person. Literally, you hear eruptions and people cheering, and then TCU scores, and then they're like, oh, and you hear all of that. Mindful, there is me, and there's this one other guy sitting right next to me, and we're watching the smallest screen in the corner of the casino, and it has NIU and Boston College. He's on Boston College, I'm on NIU, and we are going back and forth.
You know what? That's a great.
He didn't listen to the TCE. He didn't listen to TCE, so he didn't know to bet NIU on the freaking money line. Let's go.
It was hilarious. So last night, we are at we're at the what is it, the Venetian Sportsbook, and we run a shout out to Mike. Mike from Atlanta runs into us and recognizes us. We bought him a beer. Mike, really good guy. Appreciate you listening to us, Mike. But we're all, so it's me stacking the money and Mike from Atlanta, and we're all on the Kansas Jayhawks. And this guy who looks like he's never been in a sports book is because he's trying to describe, he's asking us questions on what does -110 mean, right? And he goes, when I bet $100, I want $100 return. I go, well, you're not going to get it. But so he bet Kansas originally, but then his wife tells him to bet for Illinois after we told him all of our picks. We said, no, you should take Kansas. So he sells that ticket and then bets on Illinois, and he comes over and shows us. He's like, Illini all day. I'm like, how's that treating you, man? How's that treating you? What a world.
It's like the first quarter, he was instantly like, oh, man.
Jalen Daniels is just,
that guy was he's a Discord better. He's one of the Discord betters. He takes the Discord bets.
But dude, let's start right with Boston College, because I mean, am I look, if you had asked me before last week or, anytime over the past couple of years, and you'd say, Colby, is Northern Illinois better than Holy Cross? I would say, no, they're not. If you don't watch FCS football, Holy Cross is good. They have a guy that's like, he's the closest thing I've ever seen to Tebow, like the style of play at their quarterback spot. His name's Matthew Saluka. He's kind of just like this. It's not pretty, but it's effective. And they're a physical football team. They're getting 10.5 at Boston College. And I don't know why. So, I mean, honestly, I think you could make an argument that Holy Cross might deserve to be favored. They haven't lost. Holy Cross hasn't lost a regular season game in 3 years. That includes a win at Buffalo last year. That includes a win at UConn. I don't understand why we're getting 10.5 in the Crusaders. So let's just go right to the well with an FCS upset. We haven't had an FCS upset yet this year. This is the one. This is the one right here. No, you're fading the Crusaders.
I don't know. I think it's a little bit different of a step up from competition from Buffalo to UConn and now Boston College. Like, you're dead set in the Power 5 now. And this is kind of something similar to where I saw A&T a few years ago during their prime days, where we were winning those FBS games. We beat Kent State on the road. We beat Kent State on the road. We beat ECU on the road. Then we go on the road to, what was it, Duke? Yeah, it was Duke. And it was just a different level of competition because we were now in the ACC, and Duke was still one of the worst ACC teams at that point. I think this is something similar to what I experienced there, and I bet A&T there and lost. So I hate to say it, but I'm going BC here. I think everybody's on Holy Cross, and I think BC is going to sneak through and just put up 14. It's not going to be it's not going to be a 30-point loss or anything, but I think they win by 14.
Wow. I just think Holy Cross is like really underrated. Like even in the FCS nationally. Let's talk about the rivalry game. Nebraska, Colorado back on the schedule. Thank you. Thank you, college football gods, but still want it in November, but it's that 2.5, 3. All the money in the world is on Colorado, but you just gotta look out, just watch him go down to Buffalo. I just don't think Nebraska is any good. And as much as I think Colorado has flaws, I don't think Nebraska is the type of team that's going to be able to expose them. So I say you lay the points with Colorado. I think they get it done. I don't think there's any way Deion's losing his home opener. What are you doing here?
It's so I think the books are going to get killed again. I at this point, I think that the line movement is too much, but I can't back Jeff Sims, man.
Yeah.
How do I literally saw, you guys know I'm a contrarian bettor. Boom. All the money on Colorado. More money than any NFL game on Colorado. Absolutely. It screams take Nebraska. Jeff Sims is still the quarterback.
Yeah, and I think Charles Kelly's got a pretty simple defensive game plan here. Load the box, and I know people in the chat from our other show was like, they load the box against TCU. No, they didn't, because TCU's wide receivers and tight ends a stud. They couldn't really load the box with Nebraska. I actually think they can actually load the box and go man. And I think, they'll have some success making Jeff Sims try to beat you in the air. Now, Jeff Sims' legs could be dangerous, but I just think Colorado's a much better team from a skill position level than Nebraska right now.
I think the under is the best play.
Yeah, under 56.5. Obviously, everyone thinks I think the pace of the game is going to be so much slower than the Colorado TCU game. So let's go to Blacksburg. And by the way, I am betting. I already bet the shit out of Colorado. So opening I have major money on Holy Cross and Colorado. So Blacksburg. This is another one I do have money on. It's a smaller wager, but why the fuck is Virginia Tech favorite here? Did you watch the ODU?
Because it's Blacksburg. You don't come into Blacksburg just get a win. You don't just walk into Blacksburg. I was not just dominate.
Super impressed as we have a lightning delay. Hey, let's talk about this lightning.
Yeah,
delay
so it's storming like really bad while we just started, but it's supposed to just pass through, so it should only be probably about an hour maybe. But it just started storming real bad down here.
I feel like the lightning delays happen way more often now than before. I'm not saying there's not lightning going on, but
especially at Wake Forest Stadium. I've been at Wake Forest. I used to work Wake Forest football games. There used to be like almost every single time it was rain, it was a lightning delay.
I feel like we're a little over the top on if there's lightning 30 miles away, let's cancel the game. But I don't know. Let's talk about Purdue, Virginia Tech, because I did wager on Purdue because I just think they're a lot better of a football team, and I think there's no shame in losing to Fresno State because Fresno State won the fucking Mountain West last year, and I think watching that Virginia Tech ODU game now. I did cash in on Virginia Tech. Whew. It took every minute of that game for me to cash that thing because I am not high on ODU this year. I did not come away from that game super optimistic about the future of Virginia Tech football this year. So I did bet Purdue. I actually, I see the lines at Virginia Tech -1. I got it at, I think it was 2.5. I think I got it, but I think Purdue's a money line play here. If you're getting it at 2.5, whatever. But what are you doing here?
Unfortunately, I actually kind of did like Purdue.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Hudson Card, like the fact that Grant Wells still starts, watching that Hokie offense, I was like,
I think this is a defensive game. I think this is a defensive game, and I think Purdue's defense really steps up for them. I don't really like what's old boy for Purdue,
the head coach Ryan Walters.
No, quarterback.
Hudson Card.
Yeah, from Texas. That's what I was thinking about. From Texas, Hudson Card. I'm not really a big fan of him, to be honest. And Purdue gave away a bunch of chances, but that's the reason why I like them, because they gave away a bunch of chances to Fresno State and they basically gave Fresno State the win. So, I mean, it's a road trip.
Fresno's offense can fly. To be fair, Fresno's offense can fly.
I think that I don't have a bet on this game, but something that's interesting me and I might actually play is one of those halftime full times. I think this is a Virginia Tech gets out early at home, but Purdue resilient comes back, gets a win in the second half. I'll go ahead and go Purdue to get the win here and to give Virginia Tech probably their only loss at home.
Yeah. And let's talk about this one because this is actually one of the only 9 a.m. games that I haven't bet yet. NC State's getting 7.5. Notre Dame.
What? You haven't bet this?
I hate NC State, but I think I should be betting.
Wait,
on the
Brennan Armstrong?
Yeah. In the rain though, does that make us favor?
It's not going to rain the whole time. So the game starts about 45. I think the rain, if I'm looking at the weather app right, it should be passed by then. And if it isn't, it's not going to make it to the second half. Like you'll have maybe a quarter of rain and that's it. But then it's going to be dry for about the rest of the game. Probably just wet field.
Well, here's the thing. Sam Hartman's never won in Raleigh at Carter Finley. He's 0-2. And I think NC State complements their So this is why I probably will bet NC State before. I'll do it in a minute here, but because it makes sense. Look, Notre Dame's got a very good offensive line, 2 tackles that are going to be first or second round draft picks. But what is the strength of NC State? It's their defense, especially their defensive line and their secondary. Their defensive line, I think, will be able to somewhat neutralize that Notre Dame rushing attack. And here's what I love: Notre Dame has young wideouts, like really young wideouts, and the NC State secondary, I think, has 3 players that are going to be in the NFL. So I think they can really present some challenges there. Now, how Notre Dame could take advantage of that, to me, the tight end position. But I think you got to take the points, and I think that you got, especially knowing what Ohio State's on. What is that? Is that next week or is that the week after? It's next week, right? Ohio State. I think Ohio State comes to.
Yeah, it's next week. So look ahead, spot.
Look ahead. Yeah.
Look, play my music, man. Play the music.
Yeah, we can't play the old music.
Oh yeah. No, the new music.
Yeah. We'll just play this one.
Look, I'm telling you here, Notre Dame is looking ahead. You have Sam Hartman coming back to NC State. You already talked about he's never won at NC State. Brandon Armstrong and this offense had a rough go at it with UConn. Very rough go at it with UConn. They play a lot better than that. And people don't be catching on to the little things in games, but I do. And that's why I'm here for you. Notre Dame DBs were getting cooked against Navy. They just couldn't get the ball to them.
Yeah.
They couldn't get the ball to him. Notre Dame DBs were getting cooked against Navy. Like there were multiple times that they got blown, and it was either an overthrown ball, it was a drop, something like that. Brandon Armstrong is going to be able to capitalize on that if Notre Dame's DBs are, shading off, or they able to let the wide receivers catch open in space. Like Brandon Armstrong is going to get the football there. I think that this is a close game. I think that this is a potential overtime game. And I love the 7.5. And I think NC State is going to go out here and get the win outright. I have NC State on the money line. And it's actually sitting here in a parlay right now as I try to fill out the rest.
Woo. And look, if you go back and listen to my Notre Dame episode, my NC State episode, I did call for NC State, like season preview episodes back in July. I called for NC State to win this one. So I'll jump back on and say, take the points. And this is gonna be a fun one. And people don't realize NC State leads the all-time series against Notre Dame. Jumping down, here's an upset special for you. Cam Rising's not playing at Utah. Their backup, their second string's out for the season, so their third and fourth quarterbacks that beat Florida now have to hit the road to Waco, where Baylor's coming off of a loss as a 28-point favorite. I know Baylor's starting quarterback Shapen's injured, but I don't think the gap between Shapen and Sawyer Robertson, the Mississippi State transfer, is that big. Whereas I do think the gap between Cam Rising and the third and fourth string quarterbacks for the Utah Utes is that big. I have Baylor winning on the money line against Utah in Waco. I bet I took the 7.5. I think it was earlier this week on Tuesday, but I'm taking it on the money line. I already bet this thing. What are you doing here?
I am actually have this as the second leg of the parlay, Baylor money line. I think I am all over it. Lock up Baylor +7, +7.5, wherever you get it at. So what the people don't remember is that Utah every year early in the season somehow, some way finds a way to fuck themselves when it comes to the college football playoff.
On the road,
always on the road, they find a way to fuck themselves when it comes to the college football playoff and take an early L that they know they have to run the table to get in. There's no way they get in without running the table, and so they always take that early L. And now they're playing catch up for the rest of the season. This is another situation. You're going into Waco. I haven't seen the weather. I think it's going to be a hot day in Waco. We'll see if Rising plays. I haven't heard if he will or not.
He's not.
So you're rolling out Barnes there again. And how many times have we had this thing where we played the backup in the first game, then the second game they look like a backup again?
First ever road start.
Come on, man.
Start? No.
And you're laying 7.
Yeah.
You're laying 7 against not only a Baylor team that lost outright and gave Texas State their first win ever against an FBS opponent, but also it's Mike Leach Day. And who's the quarterback for Baylor?
Sawyer Robertson. Let's go. He is a Mike Leach recruit. It's Mike Leach Day. So look, we're going to mention a lot of that in a little bit here. Ball State, Georgia. Don't touch it. JMU, Virginia. I know me and you have had quite the feud. You're on team Patty C here, even though this is one where Patty C Actually, no, not for this one, but you know what I mean. He's a UVA fan. JMU, this line is hopped all around, by the way. Both these teams are starting backup quarterbacks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard an official report on Musket, but I heard he was unlikely to start earlier in the week.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas JMU, the Barrett, the freshman who started last week, is not starting. But however, they're going to McLeod, who has a lot more starts in his college career when he was at South Florida. The spread is 6. Man, this thing I saw it as low as 3. I saw it up to 7. It's settling at 6 right now. JMU is the favorite at Scott Stadium. I think JMU is going to win this game, but I am a little confused on the line here. I'll still lay the 6 and say JMU 24-17, but I don't feel good about this as well as I, in the preseason. I'll say. What are you doing here?
Okay, so the tough thing about this is the fact of everybody knows what they saw from Virginia's offense last week. Trust me, I know because I watched every second. Virginia sucks. Virginia Tech, greatest team in Virginia, by the way, just so you guys know. So here's why I have issues. The offensive line absolutely sucks. They get
terrible offensive line.
Absolutely terrible. I have no idea how they are going to defend the Dukes in that note. What is going well for them is that this isn't a Power 5 defensive line. So maybe size alone, this can be a little bit more even of a matchup. But the good thing that Virginia Tech has going for them this week, opposed to the second half of last week, is the fact that now the true freshman has a week to prepare. Now they knew Musket wasn't going to play in this game. Like, they knew Musket was done for this game. They got him the first team reps. They got him ready. They're going to do nice, short, intermediate throws. They're going to try to run the ball. They're going to do everything that they can to make him feel comfortable and just not blow the game. Because if you watch that first half before the wheels fell off and the team just packed it in, that UVA defense was really, really good. They had one big play, and then they were forcing Tennessee to 3 and outs. They were getting the ball back. They were stopping them on 4th down. That
I like
UVA
the
defense was really freaking good. So
I like that defense.
It's too many points. I'm taking Virginia Tech in the points.
Virginia
Magic,
not
Virginia Tech. Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm taking Virginia in the points. And Tragic Magic says that you should sprinkle on the money line. First game since the tragedy. They're having a tribute, doing all that stuff.
That is true. You do got that going. But there's also this angle that JMU beat him in 1984, and Virginia never scheduled them ever again.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that the players of JMU
luckily none of the players were born in 1984, and nobody knew that. So
I just wonder if the administration, if I'm on the JMU's administration, I'm reminding the team that, look, they've been scared to play us. You
whippersnappers better make sure you beat them.
They've been scared to play us for a long time.
And they didn't want to come back and play us again. You whippersnappers, make sure you beat Virginia. Yeah,
love the term you're using as whippersnappers. Lane Elliott in the chat say, what's up with all these Colorado haters? I mean, look, Dion, I think, addressed this in his press conference. I don't think people enjoy, like, Dion. It makes people, feel. I feel like there's a good chunk of America that see Deion Sanders. In my opinion, Terrell, you could correct me if you think, or you give your take. I think he threatens the way some people think the coach should be. Mm-hmm. How would you break that down, Terrell, or your thoughts on that?
I mean, call a spade. He's a black coach that's very eccentric and very charismatic, and he doesn't care what other people think about him, and people don't like that. Like, he's the Villanelle of the gambling space, of this guy that just comes in out of nowhere, is out here getting in everybody's face, trying to be a villain, picking on everybody,
and he's been successful at everything he's done in fucking life.
Just like we're good. It's us. This is what it is.
You listen to that Northern Illinois play. There's parallels there. Oh man. I don't understand it. I think Deion Sanders is a breath of fresh air, and
he's great, man. I don't know how you don't like that guy, man. Shout out to the 100+ people in the chat too.
Yes. For sure. Shout out to them. Look, there's some FCS games: Delaware, Penn State, Youngstown State, Ohio State. Not going to touch those. Let's talk Troy at Kansas State. Is there any chance that Troy, who won the Sun Belt a year ago, Is a live dog in the Little Apple?
I mean, maybe Troy normally beats like, teams closer to that Louisiana area, but I wouldn't say that they can't do it. The Sun Belt goes out here and they're competitive against these Power 5 schools, and Kansas State doesn't, really have anything that sits there and says, "Oh yeah, Kansas State is a dominant Power 5." Like if I had to pick one, I wouldn't be surprised if Troy went in there. They've got to went into LSU and gotten a win before.
Yeah.
So
16 points too. 16 points. And by the way, I'm seeing on the bottom line here, Tony Muskett will not be starting for UVA today. So
they knew that all week. So that's good for he's a true freshman. I think from Florida. I think he's from Florida, but he's a true freshman quarterback. So like he was a deer in headlights last week. I think he's going to play better this week.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he will. Cause another thing was that was basically a road game. That was in Nashville. You know what I mean? And those Tennessee fans are legit. It doesn't matter where the fuck the game is. Tennessee fans are legit. Look, there's some other FCS games not going to touch on. I go listen to the FCS pod. I went through every single FCS game. Let's talk. I mean, I guess I'll address Western Michigan getting 25 at the Carrier Dome against Syracuse. I say take the points, even though I think Syracuse wins the game. What are you doing here?
Yeah, Syracuse doesn't cover a lot at home. Dome angle. So I'm with you. They're in a dome. They don't cover much at home. I'll take the points.
Yeah. I'm gonna lock up this one.
Okay.
It's a little crazy because I don't normally like laying points with Iowa.
Are you locking up Iowa?
I'm gonna lay the 3.5. I also did place a little wager on the under on 36.5. I know it's at 35.5 now. At 35.5, I don't know that. Just lay the 3.5. I think Iowa's just too talented for Iowa State. Remember, Iowa State won it a year ago. I think the Iowa State depth. Iowa State looked good last week, but I just think Iowa's the more talented team right now. Bounce back spot from a season ago, and I think the Hawkeyes win this one ugly. Like something like 17-6, 17-9, something like that. What are you doing in this game?
Hasn't Iowa dominated this series?
Yeah, just not last year though. Last year,
just not last year.
That's what I'm saying. Bounce back spot for the Hawkeyes.
It just feels like everybody's betting Iowa. Dude, the Cyclones get 2 in a row. Does Matt Campbell get 2 in a row? I think I'm going with Iowa too. I'm not going to lock it up. I'm definitely not locking up Iowa laying points at all whatsoever, especially on the roads. Yeah. But matter of fact, no. Give me Iowa State plus points. I'm not going to talk myself into Iowa. Give me Iowa State.
Going with the Cyclones. Here's another one that I feel like I know my brother has bet this. We should probably bet this. I think Texas A&M's laying 3 in Miami Gardens, Florida, where I actually think there'll be more Texas A&M fans there than Miami fans. I think Texas A&M is just better. So I just feel like we should lay the 3. Totals at 52. Kind of like the under, but I mean, I haven't bet anything in this game yet, but I think I'm leaning. I might. You know what? I'm going to bet NC State. I'm going to bet Texas A&M right now. What do you think of this game?
I think Texas A&M. I kind of like Tech. I'm going to go with Texas A&M because I thought Texas A&M had a good chance to potentially challenge for the SEC this year. I really did think that they had a better team last year. The wheels kind of fell off, and then now the recruits and those top recruiting classes are getting older. They're getting those people in the lineup. They're getting healthier as a team. I thought A&M had a really, really good team this year, and I'm just not sold on Miami overall. I think they're like a tad bit overrated. So I like Texas A&M still to get it done here, but not my most confident play. But I still think that A&M gets it done. I think Cristobal needs one more year to get Miami playing how he wants them to play.
Yeah, I do too. And so I just bet. I mean, I didn't go super heavy, but I just took NC State and A&M. UTEP is heading to Evanston, Illinois, to take on Northwestern. UTEP's favored at a Big Ten school. Take a photo, Minor fans. They're only laying 1, but I think UTEP's better. I'll lay the 1. What are you doing here?
Yeah, give me UTEP. Enough
yeah. UNLV's catching 38 at Michigan. Look, that's too many points. Harbaugh's not coaching. ECU covered. I think UNLV can cover 38. What are you doing here?
Yeah. Michigan killed me last week. Yeah, I give that one to you. That was your lock. You got it. I don't know how they didn't. They only scored 34. That was
ECU's run defense is good, man. Like, yeah. You're gonna be hearing me talk about ECU
but is UTEP defense? Is UTEP defense? I put ECU's defense above UTEP's defense. Pretty.
No, UNLV's. You mean UNLV's? Yes,
UNLV. I'm sorry,
yeah,
UNLV.
Yeah.
You want another? Nah, give me Michigan. I'm going back. Give me Michigan.
Okay, laying the 37.5, 38. Okay. I think this is a live FCS dog here. We have a rivalry game: Southern Illinois against Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois is coming off a game where they got paid.
This is an easy bet. This is an easy bet. This is and it's gonna be so many people that are gonna be. Man, I wish I was back at that casino because I know that guy that was on Boston College is gonna be on Northern Illinois today. I know for a fact he's going to be on Northern Illinois today.
He's like, they're legit. They're legit.
They beat Boston College last week. Not so fast.
The Salukis looked really good in their FCS opener against an Austin Peay team, and Austin Peay's not bad in the FCS. Mm-hmm. So they're getting a touchdown on the road at DeKalb in a rivalry game after Northern Illinois just took a $1.4 million check from Boston College and cashed that with a dub. Mm-hmm. Let's spring a little bit on the Salukis. Spring a little bit on the Salukis.
I'm taking that money line.
Yes.
I love the Salukis in this game. This is the ultimate letdown spot for Northern Illinois. First home game playing against a hometown rival. You got Southern Illinois coming into town. You just beat a Power 5 school. Like you're feeling yourself. The Salukis going to come in here and beat them over the head. I love them. +7 sprinkle on money line.
Yeah. Texas State was a 28-point dog that won on the money line against Baylor. Now they head to San Antonio, the Alamo Dome, to take on the Roadrunners. This is intriguing because DJ Kenny, the head coach of Texas State, is coaching against his high school coach, Jeff Traylor. Yes, Jeff Traylor, the UTSA head coach, was. The student can't fuck with the teacher, right? This is one, but UTSA is laying 14. It's too many points though. I think Texas State can keep it close. I think UTSA probably wins, but I think it's too many points. Give me the 14 in the Bobcats. What are you doing here?
Is this not a letdown for the Bobcats? First FBS win ever, or are they just this good?
No, first Power 5 win ever.
Oh yeah, first Power 5 win ever.
14's too much though, man. These teams aren't. They're like 45 minutes apart. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just too much.
Yeah, very slight lean. I'll take the 14. Sure.
Lane Elliott in the chat is asking Miami, Ohio, after talking that shit, got just fucked up at Miami. Hey, Brett Gabbert. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you. Anymore. No one put a microphone in his face. Right?
I didn't care. I didn't care who won the game. I knew it was going to be fun when the game was over because either they won and he was right, or they lost and he was wrong and he was way wrong.
Yes. So they head up to Amherst, Massachusetts, and they're a 7-point favorite against UMass. I'm back on Team UMass, Lane, and I do think they're live.
Yeah.
I'll say take the 7.
It's come down to 6.5 in some shops. So people are betting UMass. I'm with you.
And then you got this one. Marshall is heading into Greenville, North Carolina. I mean, Marshall squeaks by the Albany Great Danes. If you watch that game, Albany probably should have won that fucking game. They were up majority of that game. Mm-hmm. And now they got to come into Greenville, and Marshall's the 3-point favorite.
I think you can play the song on this one.
Oh, fuck yes, we can. Let's go. It's a rivalry game, too. Folks, jump on over there, take ECU money line. You don't even need to take the field goal. Yeah, I mean, I was shocked at this line. I thought it should have been ECU -3. What am I missing here?
Breaking news. I have North Carolina State and Baylor in a 2-team money line parlay. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. What about this one? Michael Pratt, all of a sudden game time decision, but I think he's playing. Trying to sprinkle this shit on me this morning. I get a text from my brother saying, Michael Pratt, it's questionable. What are you talking about? All week? No, there hasn't been any talk about this all week. This is some line movement shit here, right? Ole Miss
trying
is
to
now,
move the line.
yeah. Ole Miss is now laying 8. And they did move it. It was at like 7, 6.5.
Yeah, it was
now
at
it's at
7,
8.
7.5 all week.
No. Tulane is gonna cover this, man, and Pratt's gonna play. I can't imagine he's not gonna play. This is a huge game. This is the biggest game in Tulane history, or at least since like the 1940s. So, I am taking Tulane +8. I think Tulane's line of scrimmage is going to be able to hang tough with Ole Miss. So, this place is going to be packed too. Let's go. Give me a Tulane +8. Sprinkle that money line. What are you doing here? Yes, let's.
I'm with you. I'm taking Tulane as well. I think Tulane's a good team, and this is probably their Super Bowl of the season. They know that if they win this game, they're in a pretty good situation for the rest of the season. So yeah, I'm all over Tulane to get it done here.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
Let's go, Green Wave. What else do we got? I'm just gonna throw this out there, folks, just quickly. San Jose State is 0-2. They're playing Cal Poly. Cal Poly's got Hjord as 5-star transfer. The spread's only 22.5, 23. Lay it with San Jose State because I think they're going to get it done by a large number today. Jumping further down, Appalachian State. What the hell is going on here? Little brother's getting 19.5. The last 2 times they've played, it's 1-1. By the way, App State leads the all-time series, but the last 2 times they
really,
yeah. And the last 2 times they played, App State won in Chapel Hill. So the last time they played in Chapel Hill a couple of years ago, App State won. And then last year was a crazy game where North Carolina escaped because App State missed a wide open guy on a 2-point conversion. And that's the only reason why Carolina won.
Yeah.
19.5 points. Now I know Ryan Berger, their starting quarterback from a week ago, he got benched in that, or he got injured in that game, but Aguilar came in and looked better than Berger. Aguilar's getting the start today. It's just too many points for me. Give me App State, little brother. Motivation. North Carolina's coming off a huge win against South Carolina. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I think a little bit of looking past this App State team here for North Carolina, coming back home after that game. I don't think that the defense can supply a 20-point spread. Like, I just really don't. I think that defense is going to give up. And we've seen that App State's found ways to score on them last year. Hopefully they can do it again. But I think North Carolina does win. I think North Carolina wins comfortably, but not by 20.
Yeah. Mario White is saying Pratt is out in the chat. Hold on. I need confirmation on this. Why do I not see this anywhere?
Let's search Twitter.
Yeah. Because that would be
that would change everything. It would literally change everything.
Pete Thamel reported an hour and a half ago.
Game time decision.
Yeah, he's gonna fucking play. He's gonna play. There's no way. You can't. You got to show up to this. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's move along. UAB, Georgia Southern. You got any play on that? Louisiana, Old Dominion. Any play on either of those? I didn't bet either of those games. Ohio.
Yeah.
You got any of those?
No, I'm going.
Okay. Ohio, Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic's laying 3.5. Curtis Rourke and these are the breaks. They're going to be playing. He's going to be playing this one, but I think Florida Atlantic's just the better team. Ohio barely got him last year, but Tom Herman, I think bringing in Casey Thompson, I think you take the Owls and FAU to get it done. New Mexico State Liberty. I think you take New Mexico State in the points. Let's talk about this one. SMU is getting 17 points, 16.5, something like that at Oklahoma. See, this is one that's really hard for me. UCF and Oklahoma played the 2 worst teams in college football in the FBS. So UCF played Kent State, covered for us. Oklahoma played Arkansas State. I think they might have gave us a performance that makes us think that they're like I need to see more is my point. Like it's confusing when you see when you see him against that shitty of an opponent. It's like, wait a second, is Oklahoma the best team in the Big 12? Is UCF the best team in the Big 12? But it's like, wait, but SMU's getting 16 and a half, 17 points. I say Oklahoma wins, but I'll take the points. What are you doing here?
My issue is I think that this is maybe a closer game, maybe a 10-point game for a majority of the game, maybe 2 scores. And so my question at the end is Venables aggressive enough to continue to put the pressure on SMU if this is just a 2-score game going into the 4th? They're at home. He's caught a lot of flack with Oklahoma. I think I'm going to do the same thing that I did last week, at least for this game, and saying at home, he's just going to try to run the score up as much as possible and get the boosters back on his side.
I didn't play this game. I'm just saying, like, my lean would be SMU in the points, but I could see your angle. North Texas FIU. I think you lay the points with North Texas personally, but I didn't touch that game. Cincinnati Pitt. Let's talk about this game because Patty C is screaming Cincinnati money line. Cincinnati looked a lot better than I thought they would last week. I did eat shit on that play. They're getting a touchdown. I hate laying a touchdown with Narduzzi. So I will take the 7. I'm not fucking with the money line though, because I think Pitt's probably going to win the game. What are you doing here?
I am taking the points, but I can't lay with Narduzzi. I have an issue laying with Narduzzi. I actually think Cincy on the money line. This is a game Narduzzi loses, just like how he lost.
I can see it.
Then what was the game last year at home earlier in the
season?
They
lost. Well, no, 2 years ago. Yeah, but 2 years ago they won the ACC but lost at home to Western Michigan.
Yeah, this is a game they can lose. I'm not afraid. Give me Cincy. I'll sprinkle on the money line for Cincy today.
Yeah. Memphis, Arkansas State. That's a rivalry game, but I don't know. Lay the 21 with that. Let's talk about Oregon going into Lubbock because I love Texas Tech here. Texas Tech coming up. I was on Wyoming last week money line, and I've always thought the whole year Texas Tech's going to beat Oregon. So that, folks, not only do you have Lubbock being lit in a tough place to grab a dub, Oregon played Portland State, and you don't really gain anything by that. Now, Oregon obviously very talented, but they start Bo Nix, and when Bo Nix transferred in, he beat out Tyler Shuck, and Tyler Shuck transferred to Texas Tech. So this is a personal game going on for Tyler Shuck and the Texas Tech Red Raiders. They don't want to start out 0-2. People had them playing for the Big 12 championship. I think they're a live dog here because I don't think Oregon had a great season last year, but they're the defensive side of the ball, especially after they lost Christian Gonzalez. I don't think they're there yet in the secondary. And what does Texas Tech do? They could pass the hell out of the ball. I think there's an advantage to Texas Tech. I've already bet this. I got it at 7, and then I also took it at plus 240 on the money line. What'd you do? What are you doing here?
I'm on Texas Tech. I haven't gotten this bet in yet, so I will be putting it in later, waiting for the morning slate, and then I'm going to roll that over on the Texas Tech because Texas Tech, little bit of Virginia, Baylor are the 3 teams that I'm looking at, and I'm saying everybody's looking to fade those teams after what they did last week and the performance that they put last week. And I think all 3 of those teams have really good chances for bounce back. Not as much as UVA as Texas Tech and Baylor, but I think this is a chance for the Big 12 to get right this week. So I'm expecting to see Texas Tech come out here, especially Mike Leach Day. They're going to go out there. They're going to put on a show. And Oregon, I'm curious to see what Bo Nix does on the road. I'm 100% curious to see how Bo Nix plays this game on the road, especially after putting up 80 something last week. It feels like he's smelling himself. Like it feels like they're smelling themselves a little bit.
There's a lot of juicy dogs on the slate. I'll put it like this, throughout this whole schedule here, but UConn's catching 3.5 at Georgia State. I think the wrong team's favorite. I think UConn's better than Georgia State. Take the Huskies down there in Atlanta. I don't know if you have any take on that, but I already played that money line. I didn't even take the points. I just played it money line because I think they're better than Georgia State. Another one that I took, and this has been some big time line movement. I had Rice winning against Houston This was a 7-point game a year ago. You bring in. I thought Rice was somewhat impressive against Texas, and Houston coming off that huge win against UTSA. It's at Rice this year. I thought Rice. I got it at 10. It's at 7 now, which is crazy because I don't understand. But I also played it on the money line because I think this is going to be a game. What are you doing here?
I am. Yeah, give me Rice.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a lot of juicy dogs. You want to talk about another one?
At
Jackson?
home. At home. And you know what? I'm not gonna say they could have won the Texas game, but Texas could have lost that game. I'm not saying Rice could have won the game, but Texas could have lost that game. Very much so.
Another juicy dog that I think is live. This is Jacksonville State when they head to Coastal Carolina. They're getting 15 fucking points. And I think this is like Coastal might win the game, but play the 15 and just sprinkle a little bit on this money line because I could see Rich Rod giving this defense some problems. Now Coastal was a little more impressive than I thought at the Rose Bowl, but I think the spread's off. If I was making this line, I would put it at like Coastal minus like 4, 5, 15. I'm all over Jacksonville State. I think there's a shot they could win this thing. So what are you doing here?
Y'all want it? Y'all want it? This is the shootout of the week. Shootout of the week.
Yeah.
40 plus points on both sides. 30, 40 plus points on both sides. This is the shootout of the week. I'm taking Jacksonville State plus 13.5. Let's go, Rich Rod.
Yeah, I see it at 15 right now too, man.
Take the over 61
right now.
Over 61 is a lock.
Yeah. Let's go. Middle Tennessee's catching 21 at Missouri, 21 and a half. I see. I guess take the 21 and a half. I don't know.
Every time I take big spreads against Missouri, they find a way to just screw me and cover. So, they're picking games, and I see one for Auburn. I see. Oh no, Pat McAfee took Cal.
Well, because he's going to be right. Cal's going to.
Yeah, he is. Cal's going to no. So I've locked up Cal. I didn't know if we were going to get to that when the Pac-12 at the bottom of the slate, but I've locked up Cal.
This line has came way the fuck down though, man. I got it at 7 earlier in the week. It's at like 4 right now. And I took it on the money line. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm not afraid of the line dropping because I think Cal wins this game outright. Yeah. This is the game. SEC. If we look at where's the freaking SEC stat that I had, I pulled it up just for this show and I forgot. Let's see here. So SEC teams since 2000 are 5-12 at Pac-12 stadiums. This is including Florida last week. Since 2000, 5-12 straight up at Pac-12 stadiums.
Yeah, and that doesn't even include Georgia losing at Colorado because Colorado was in the Big 12. So, I have a deep dive on it too. But I mean, I think Cal's live, and Idaho is favored against Nevada, and FCS is favored, and FCS is favored by 3 in Reno against Nevada, and I think you should lay the points with Idaho. I don't know if you have a play on that, but because we have to talk Texas Bama. We have 11 minutes. We got to fucking Texas, Alabama. Alabama's laying 7. I laid the 7. Me and Nick are in a lock battle here. I bet this one. NC Nick took Texas plus 7. He also took Texas on the money line, I think. I'm on Bama. I think Bama's going to fuck them up. What are you doing?
Yeah, I think Bama minus 7.5 is absolutely the play here. I minus 7, minus 7.5, wherever you get it. I think that this is the beginning of the end for Quentin Ewers. I truly do. I think this is not saying that he's a bad quarterback or he doesn't deserve to be the starter, but I think that they are going to get so much pressure to play Arch Manning over the course of this season that it's going to fuck up how he plays these games. It looked like he didn't look comfortable in last game against Rice, and now you're coming to play Alabama on the road. They're hyped for this game. They're going to be SEC chants throughout the entire stadium the whole game. I don't think he's ready for it, and I don't think the team wants to back them for it. I think that they're just biting their time and they're waiting to go play the true freshman.
Yeah. UCF heads to the Smurf turf. Boise's getting 3.5 or 4 right now. I think Boise wins this. Yeah, Boise. Yeah, let's go.
Play a song.
Boise is really fucking good in Boise. I mean, I think they might have the best record at home in college football over the past 20 years. I'm fairly certain that's probably accurate. They've only been a dog twice in that stretch. They're winning this game. I mean, I just feel like they're going to be able to bottle up Plumlee, the rushing attack, and make them throw. And Plumlee's not a great throwing quarterback, so I feel like there's opportunity. Give me Boise.
He's prone to mistakes. He's very prone to mistakes.
The dogs are barking today, folks. And here's another opportunity. Florida A&M is getting 18 at South Florida. Watch out. Florida A&M, Jeremy Mosa, the former Vanderbilt quarterback. It's a sneaky game. I'll take the points. No, you laying it?
I don't know. Yeah, why not? I'll back A&M. I do think it's a lot of points scored because I think USF is still going to be able to score. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if Florida A&M could keep up. That could, you know what? That could screw Patty C. Yeah, let's do it. Let's screw Patty C. Florida A&M.
Yes. Temple Rutgers. Someone was talking about this in the chat. Rutgers is laying 8.5. I took Temple in the points. I think Rutgers wins. How do you feel about that?
What's the spread you see for this one?
8.5 now. This came down. This was at 10 when I called it on Wednesday. I didn't touch this game. I didn't bet this.
Temple's bad, but this is low key like a little bit of a rivalry game here between Temple and
old Big East.
Yeah. I'll take Temple. I'll take Temple in the points.
Arizona's heading into Starkville, Mississippi. This line came down.
Are you? I mean, it's Mike Leach Day. Are you doing it? Are you doing it?
No, I'm on Hail State, man.
Really?
Hail State. I'm laying the 9. I think for the first half, Arizona's going to be in this game, but I think Mississippi State turns it on late, gets that cover.
Should Mississippi State lay 8.5 versus anybody?
I mean, Arizona's a weird team, but I mean that home edge. You're on Arizona.
I'm taking the points. Okay. I think Mississippi State still gets the win, but they're not a great team, and Arizona's still a Power 5. I think it's a little bit closer. Both of these teams aren't that good.
UCLA, San Diego State. UCLA is laying 13.5. I love UCLA. I'm laying the 13.5. I didn't go like that.
Really?
Yeah. San Diego State's offense is concerning to me. I watched that Idaho State game.
You're fading our gals.
I just don't think that offense, that transition to the air raid, I don't think they have the personnel for it. And
the air raid always takes a year or two. Like it always takes a year or two of recruiting, getting people to buy in, all of that. Like nobody just turns it around in one season. I'm with you. I was laying 14 with UCLA too. I just didn't think you were. I thought we were going to go back and forth on that one.
Yeah, no, I bet it too, man. I feel like I just feel like UCLA is going to beat their ass tonight, but maybe the Aztec defense can save them and keep them in the game. Live dog, a juicy live dog. I gave you Colorado plus 775 on the money line last week. This week, it's the Eastern Michigan Eagles for me. They're plus 750. Take the 20 to cover your ass, but also place some on that 750 Eastern Michigan angle. I think they're live in Minneapolis.
Minnesota sucks.
Yeah. What are you doing here? I take
Minnesota
that.
Sucks. I'm not laying 20 with Minnesota. They suck. They're not good. They might not even score 20 points.
Wisconsin is the first. Wisconsin's the first non-con Power 5 team since 1998 to play in Pullman. There's a reason why, because they're fucking gonna lose outright against Washington State on Mike Leach Day in Pullman. As you know, this line has came down a little bit. It was at 7.5. I'm seeing it right now at 5.5. I don't care. Washington State, I think the better team. I was not impressed with Wisconsin against Buffalo. I think Wazoo's the better team this year. Completes the sweep there. Ride that money line. What are you doing there?
Yeah, I'll ride the money line. Take 5.5 to cover your ass, but because I do think that it could be a little bit of a closer game here. But I ultimately think the home crowd is going to take Wisconsin out of it. And if they can't run the ball or they have issues running the ball on that Washington State front, then they are going to be in for a long day with little scoring. So I like an under for the game, under 58, and I think Washington State takes it on.
There we go. I got 3 games left I want to talk about, and they're all bets of mine. I'm sorry. I know you I know you used to be in the United States Air Force, and that's your squad. I think Sam Houston is live.
Hey man, I hate Academy nerds. I do. I hate Academy guys, man. The Academy guys are the worst, so I'm all for it.
Sam Houston plus 450 in Houston, Texas. That's on the money line. Take the 14 to cover your ass again. I think it happens. I think they get Air Force right there. First win of them being an FBS. Another one that I'm all over is Oklahoma State.
I'm like parlaying Sam Houston, and if if your morning bets don't go well, you want a big crazy parlay to get everything back. Wazoo and Sam Houston parlay those two together, you get a nice return there.
Yes, and also Oklahoma State minus 2.5 at Arizona State. I love that play. Arizona State looked like shit against Southern Utah. I think Oklahoma State's going to put it on them. Another two that I'll give away that I like. Well, first off, Southern Miss is taking on Florida State. They're getting 31. Down, let down spot. I'd say take the 31, but Florida State's, I don't know. I didn't bet that game. But I am lay Oregon State's laying 23 against UC Davis. Lay the 23. Lay the fucking 23. That is a lock. All right. That is a lock. I also think the Albany Great Danes, who did put a scare in Marshall last week, they're at Hawaii without their head coach, who I think has COVID. Hawaii's laying 9.5. Hawaii gets their first win of the season. I'm laying the 9.5, and I've bet that one as well. So, those are all my plays. You got anything else you like? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Stanford, USC. The total's at 69.5. I have a large bet on the over because I don't care. USC is going to get in the 50s. Stanford, I think, could get in the 30s or maybe even the 40s. I also bet Stanford plus 30 fucking points. Stanford's offense is going to be able to move the ball against USC. What are you doing in that game?
Yeah, I think that Stanford 29. I feel like one of the last times we played this game, Stanford was able to cover against USC. I can't. It's
a rivalry game. This is USC's oldest rival. I'm telling you, they're going to cover this. They're going to cover this and and take the over as well. Let's go, folks. That's our show. I want to watch these games. All right. Make sure you give Terrell Furman a follow on Twitter and check out his podcast. But he's on Twitter at reallyrail__. And check out the NBA Gambling Podcast, the WNBA Gambling Podcast. I know he's on the NFL Gambling Podcast sometimes. He's all over the place, so check him out, folks. Let's get the hell out of here and watch these games because I'm excited. We coming. Let's go. Whoa, wrong song. Until next time, we are the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. We can really run and shoot, and